Welcome back to the Word Expanded, the Gospels. We're in Matthew. We're in chapter 4. We just did 12 through 17. I want to pick it up in verse 18 as we walk through this step by step. It says this: while walking by the Sea of Galilee, he saw two brothers, Simon, who was called Peter, and Andrew, his brother, casting a net into the sea, for they were fishermen. He said to them, "Follow me, and I will make you fishers of men." Immediately they left their nets, followed him. Going on from there, he saw two other brothers, James and John, in the boat with Zebedee their father. Mending their nets, he called to them. Immediately they left the boat and of their father and followed him. This should be a pretty simple, the word, right? Pretty short. Notice the calling of the first disciples. God hasn't changed what he's doing. Jesus is constantly calling people to himself, to the mission that he has for them. Notice he goes to the lake. He's calling fishermen, people who are used to catching things, right? They get the whole idea of casting a net so that they might catch a few, right? These guys would fish all night long, right, in hopes that they got enough, right, fish, right, to be able to sell, so that they could make money for their families. Some nights that might be nothing. Some nights that might be a few. But they understood the concept of fishing. And this is the mission that Jesus would be calling them on. Hey, you're going to cast your net out there. Sometimes you're going to catch a few, maybe a lot, like Peter did on Pentecost, right? But it's this idea of you understand this. Your nets. Notice the differences here, right? Two are fishing, right? And they're casting their net into the sea. They're actively fishing. And then two are helping their dad repair the net, right? These are great symbolicness that we can talk about. Sometimes we're there. Sometimes God calls us when we're in the midst of repairing, right? We're healing. Like we're doing all kinds of things. Sometimes we're actively doing it and God calls us out and says, "Hey, I know you're doing this. Let me have you do this over here." Right? Again, it's the same concept. Rarely does God take somebody and say, "Oh, hey, I'm going to totally change your character, who you are, what you do, and I'm going to ask you to do something totally different." Right? We love those stories, right? Because, I was doing this and doing this. Most of the time, God takes us out of secular work, out of what we thought made sense, out of what God said, "Hey, get some preparation here," and then we go work for God. Right? And he says, it's about casting nets. But what I want you to focus on tonight is immediately. Both sets of men immediately left. They immediately left. And who did they leave? Family. They left family, friends, all that they knew. They left. So this is probably the shortest video I've ever made in my entire life. There's lots more I would love to say, but we don't need to say it. What I want you to chew on tonight is super simple in nature. Do you respond to God immediately? Or does it take a bunch of time? Are you dragging your feet and your nets and everything else? Do you respond to God immediately? That is the key to obedience, being a productive part of the kingdom of heaven. What Jesus just said, the kingdom of heaven is now. So immediately respond. So chew on that. We'll see you next time. The Word Expanded, the Gospels.